maybe a question. I find that with the not getting back, I take responsibility. The whole in the moment thing and being in the moment, what I found is the difficulty of people still have, myself included, that childlike nature of wanting undivided attention and wanting to feel that. And it's almost a balancing act of, okay, how to make them feel that and multitask. I guess I learned from being a mother. For me, personally speaking, and it's the question comes in, how do you then balance the in the moment of going to go to university? The university tells you to change something, you know, and if that change comes to someone who is more of a, no, you gave me this date, that's your commitment, I don't want to hear, you have to change, thanks for contacting me, you know, shit, which I experienced in one thing. How do you balance those two and stay in that peaceful, intuitive flow, you know, and the business stick with it?
I think you have to choose your priorities. When I was a personal trainer and ran my own business, I told every client that my children came first. That if my children called me and I was in the middle of a session, I would be leaving. I set that parameter at the very beginning. I don't care what meeting it is. I mean, my kids are older now. They're 18 to 28. But if a very dear friend of mine called and needed me, I would be honest and say, Karen, I know we have a meeting today, but a really dear friend of mine, you know, is having a problem. Would you mind if I change it? Because I would do the same thing if Karen called me and said, I really need to talk to you about something. Those 200 people in my database are like gold. And they know that. That's why they do 150%. I do the same thing for them. And I want to get back to something. We say we can multitask. You can't. Your mind can only do one thing at a time well. When the phone rings, turn off the computer. Don't do anything else but talk to them. Stand up and talk, and then you're not going to be going on and on. When your children come and want to talk to you, or your husband, or your coworker, turn off the computer, turn off the TV, and talk. And what's the next thing you got to do? Listen. And clarify everything. There's a reason people are coming to talk to you. If it's for nonsense, then make time at another, you know, if someone's coming into your cubicle, let's talk about, you know, their date last weekend, and you don't have time, you can say, you know what, I've really got to get this done. Why don't we set time? I can give you 5 minutes, you know, at 1 o'clock. But I want people to get away from this multitasking because you're not paying attention to the people that are in there that need to talk to you. And I'm guilty of it too. I am. But I know that I can't do it well. I make mistakes.
And it's back to discernment, where you want to send it and how you want to use your resources. And you set the rules up front. You know, I need to be available for my kids, or here are the times or the blocks. And I think the best thing is to be honest with people if something comes up. You know, this is the story. And most people understand, you know, if you're honest. If you're trying to, you know, do a quick, you know, little...
You're putting it out on the universe, yeah. This negative, you're lying kind of a thing, and lies will catch up with you.
Yeah, still put yourself in that position. So, we are coming to the end of our time here. Does anybody have any other questions, please?
Could you elaborate a little bit more about yourself?
Oh, about me?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, how much time do we have? You know what? My background is in marketing and strategy. I spent about 14 years doing that at places like Quaker Oats, the Illinois State Lottery, and more recently People's Energy. Marketing and strategy, hardcore, have my Harvard MBA, did a lot of hardcore things. 5 years ago, I quit after a really challenging year at my company and wrote my first book called I Quit. I Quit and Choose Work That Aligns With My Soul. I've done a lot of hands-on energy healing, training, and intuitive training. And what I came to know is that I wanted to work with people on a more one-to-one basis. I knew I was feeling called into something else. It has organically unfolded over the past 5 years to this place, which is helping people figure out how to live with a foot in what I call both worlds, and how to help businesses operate from a place of spirit leadership, and integrity, as opposed to transactional businesses. They're not going to work anymore. They're absolutely going to die because it's too easy for people to switch. You have to give people a reason to choose you. And that's what I understand. All that business training was meant to bring me here. And all of that intuitive and energetic training is meant to be blended so that people can learn that it's possible to be in the world in a different way and be there successfully. So what I do now is I work with individuals and I work with organizations to allow what's true about them to be expressed in the world. And when you do that, when you stop hiding those quirky bits, what's quirky about you? That's the part that's meant to help you flourish in the world. We have a tendency to stuff that down and want to be cookie cutters because we think that that's the way we're going to progress. But cookie cutter doesn't work anymore. It worked for a long time during the industrial and the technological age. When the analysis was enough to get you the money and the revenue and the business that you needed. Not anymore. You can't be a cookie cutter and survive anymore. You have to know what's true and unique and special about you and let that vibration find the people who are resonating on the same frequency. It's true for business, it's true for individuals, it's true within companies. So what I do is help people find and then choose to express what's so special about them and let that do the work. Then you can stop the resisting. That's what ages us. I think we're meant to live to be about 200. Really. But I think that the resistance and the stress brings that down. So if we can be in a space where we feel really good about who we are and we're willing to share what's special about us, then the people who look like us can find us. And that's who you want to do business with. And quite frankly, you don't need everybody else. You don't need 1,000 people. You might need 100 customers. And there's a lot of conversation going on today about the quality of the people that you interact with and being really discerning about how you spend your time. Time is the most valuable thing we have right now. And most of us spend a lot of it in places that we really are not serving us. So that unconditional responsibility, I think that's the most challenging discipline that we have, is to be responsible. If you don't like it, what are you going to do? It's on you to decide to do something different and to appeal to and to ask for the help that you need. So my mission, if you will, is to, while I teach, to live it. It's my spirit's way of allowing me to practice what I preach. It's what I'm called to personally, and what better way to keep myself in check than to teach it and to work with people at establishing it and pulling it out and sharing that for themselves. So I love what I'm doing. I'm thrilled at the potential. I think the world can be a really different place, but it starts with us. It's not going to start out there. No one's going to give you permission. We have to decide and claim it. And it's the same thing with organizations. They have energetic signatures. There's an energy around business. And there are heart centers and lungs and endocrine systems, all as part of an organization. The key is the tail wagging the dog or is the dog wagging the tail? And to let people flourish by being who they are, we'd be so much more successful.